New Zealand joined World War II in 1939, but it wasn't until Japan joined in 1941 that serious thought was made about how to defend New Zealand against attack. The Ministry of Works built a number of defences around New Zealand's major cities' coasts, including batteries, searchlights, mines and chains, and some air raid shelter tunnels. Auckland City Council felt the need for air raid shelters in the city centre to defend against the potential Japanese attack. Between December 1941 and January 1942, over 16,000 feet of slit trenches were dug in Auckland City. And shelters were built into basements, Auckland Domain, Grafton Gully, and the old Parnell Rail Tunnel. Between all of the shelters, they could house around 20,000 people. Unfortunately, the population of Auckland City at that time was around 70,000. So, a solution was required. And so they turned here to Albert Park, developed in the 1880s on the site of the former Albert Barracks. But unlike the barracks, there's no longer anything left at the surface to tell us that the tunnels were ever here. Costing around £120,000, which is about $11 million in today's money, 3/4 of it was paid for by the government and the remainder by the City Council. It was designed to house 20,500 people. It was built by a team of over 300 men, working 3 shifts a day, 24 hours a day, 6 days a week, for around about 5 months. The tunnels were carved from the clay soil and sandstone of volcanic rock and lined with untreated native timbers. In total, there are more than 3.5 kilometres of tunnels, incorporating shelters, sanitation facilities, first aid posts, and accommodation galleries. And it also has 9 entrances in 4 locations. All of the entrances have been covered up, although this one on Kitchener Street has an inspection hatch. Unfortunately, I don't have a key. The Wellesley Street tunnel portal is somewhere behind this retaining wall, here next to the art gallery. These tunnels are unique within Aotearoa and possibly the world. They're built by a local city council to house a civilian population and use baffles rather than blast doors. The tunnels mostly run under Albert Park and nearby streets, but one arm of the tunnels runs under what is now the University of Auckland and Constitution Hill, ending here in Mechanics Bay. This arm also extends under one corner of Old Government House. There is a rumour that there is an escape hatch connecting this tunnel arm with this building. At the time it was known as Government House, and it was where dignitaries and royalty would stay, but no physical evidence of this connection has ever been found. The tunnels were never used. The threat of Japanese invasion was never realised. By the end of 1943, the tunnels were already starting to collapse, and they were officially closed in 1945 at the end of the war. The tunnels were filled with 8.8 million unfired clay bricks, the timber supports removed, and the tunnel entrances, like this one on Victoria Street, were sealed shut. Periodically, the tunnels made their presence felt when a source subsidence opens up a pocket, creating a hole at the surface. Like this spot in 2004 when a rugby ball-sized hole opened. Or this spot in 2005 when part of a ventilation shaft collapsed, opening up a hole in the sidewalk the size of a small car, filled with carbon monoxide. This means this whole area needs to be considered an active archaeological landscape. The problem is though, how do you conserve and protect a unique piece of New Zealand's heritage when the very act of conservation would destroy its nature and its fabric? This is a very common difficulty when working with intangible heritage. Plans exist to reopen the tunnels and provide a transit corridor, an underground marketplace, and a blackwater rafting venue. But in 30 years of plans and talks, nothing has come of it yet. So in the meantime, we watch and we wait